Hi, I'm Anna Matthews,
And I'm Brittany Pong.
and this is our manager leader interview.
We interviewed Jody Cash, who was the director at the Broyhill Wellness Center.
So we first asked Jody what is the most difficult part of managing, and she said personnel hiring and finding the right people and keeping them. So the hiring and firing part is really difficult for a lot of managers because once you find the right person, they often move on after a year or so, especially in a college town. And then we asked, how would you describe your managing style? And she said it's really important to lead by example and that she wouldn't ask her employees to do anything that she wouldn't do. And then she also puts herself in her employees' shoes because a lot of her employees are college students. It's important for her to go back and remember what that was like and what it's like working while you're in college.
We asked her, how do you handle conflict in the workplace? And she first replied with that she doesn't like conflict at all. So she's not very good at handling it in the first place. But she said that she tries to look at the situation from every perspective because there's always more than two sides to a situation. And oftentimes that the biggest issue in conflict is miscommunication, and so she definitely tries to clear up any miscommunication that there is. And then she also advocates for each employee because not everyone is right and not everyone is wrong. Then we asked her, what do you look for in employees? And she replied, she doesn't focus too much on what's on paper, that there is your resume, but that's not all there is to a person. And she also looks for employees who have common sense and good work ethic and good interaction skills, because those are what make best for an environment, a workplace environment, as well as being able to work with customers as well.
Next, we asked, what are some of your daily managerial tasks? And she said that scheduling takes up a lot of her time, as well as overlooking the facility, making sure that everything gets done for that specific day. So what's supposed to be done on Monday and Tuesday and etc. And also helping employees understand why they're given that task so they don't just think it's some dumb task and that it doesn't actually need to be done. And of course, cleanliness, and then lastly, budgeting and expenses.
What are the strategies that she used to improve productivity and performance of her employees? And she said that regular meetings are very important, to always have just kind of a checkup on where everyone's at and clear communication between everyone, so there's no misunderstandings and there's nothing that's not being done that someone should have, and etc. She said that also trying to give employees a task that they're interested in helps with better performance and more productivity. And then also giving constructive criticism, that she starts with the positive and also ends with the positive, so that way it's not just lecturing.
Next, we asked, how do you encourage team building among employees? And meetings are really important just to check in with each other. Also, workout challenges with her employees are a really fun thing that they do with each other. Getting together outside of the wellness center so that way they become work friends, not just friends at work. And helping different employees get to know each other. So, for example, one employee in one department knowing the name of another employee in another department, even though they wouldn't necessarily be working together. And next we asked, what led you to this leadership position? And she said that she always liked working on a team and working with people, and that she was promoted to her position because she's always been extremely motivated to help people be the best they can be and help them get there.
What are the biggest challenges and rewards that she faced? And she replied with the biggest challenges for her were administration shutting down any ideas and any things that she wanted to do with her staff, a lot of the times because she was a young woman at the time, and it was very hard for her to get administration to listen to her, and therefore she didn't have much flexibility. And the biggest rewards were witnessing people reach their goals, whether it's just prioritizing and being able to achieve setting aside time to work out, or whether it was physical challenges of her clients where she once had to teach a 6-year-old woman how to run, and then a few years later still working with that same woman, and now the woman is able to run 3 miles every day and take spin classes, etc. We then asked her what past experiences can she bring to the job, and she said that she used to be captain of the swim team as well as head swim coach, working with the parents and the kids, and then working with USA Swimming with their regulations, which brought a lot of her skills to as a manager.
We next asked, what advice would you give to someone in a management position? And she really endorsed that it's important to listen to your people and listen to your staff, and that their feedback is always extremely important. So she does that by having an open door policy, and she also lets staff develop plans and be part of the development process, and that it's also important to recognize that as the manager, you don't always have the answers, and that it's important to recognize when you don't have an answer. And then we asked, what are your strengths and weaknesses in regards to management? And as far as strengths, she said that she's really good at listening to her team and encouraging growth and working with her team. And as far as weaknesses, she really does not like conflict, and she doesn't like to having to face it. And she's also worried that she's not always willing to take enough risk.
How does she manage her time efficiently? Is using her to-do list in her calendar and prioritizing everything and making sure that she always has her list on hand, marking everything down, and that way she stays organized. Then we asked her how long did it take for her to get to work to get into a managerial position, and she said that she first worked in a hospital for a year after grad school in Richmond, Virginia, and then after that she became the director of the Wellness Center.
Lastly, we asked what management skills have helped you lead effectively, and she said organization with time and schedules, and that organization is really one of the most important skills to have. Attention to detail and noticing every little thing, and then finally really listening to your team. And that is it.